Good afternoon and welcome to this Thursday, November 29th edition of Westman Newsline. I'm Randy Joseph Lilly alongside Dylan Donald and Colton Yarge. In today's news, we'll tell you about an accident in Carberry and a teenager missing from Portage La Prairie. And Dylan will be in with sports. Dylan, I understand 'tis the season to be curling.
That's right, Randy. The Super League of Curling is underway in Brandon, and the Canada Cup is taking place in Moose Jaw. I'll bring you the latest on those tournaments and more later on in sports.
Thanks, Dylan. And Colton will be in with weather. Colton, I heard a rumor that today was going to be a good day?
Shut the front door. No, really, shut the front door. It's going to be cold. Right now in Brandon, it's cloudy and -14, but with the wind out of the east at 28 kilometers per hour, it feels more like -24. Stay warm and stay tuned, and I'll be back with all your weather details later on in the show.
Thanks, Colton. Charges may be laid after a 14-year-old boy was pinned against a building by a vehicle in Carberry. RCMP say the teen was hurt early Tuesday afternoon at the community hall. They say a 17-year-old male from the area was picking a pickup truck that went out of control and struck the building, pinning the younger boy. The 14-year-old was taken to hospital with several injuries. The RCMP is asking for the public's help in locating a 16-year-old Portage La Prairie girl who hasn't been seen for several days. Police say Madeline Benke was last seen November 23rd at Portage Collegiate Institute. She is described as 5'4", 115 pounds, with long blonde hair, blue eyes, and a fair complexion. She was last seen wearing a black and purple plaid winter jacket, black bench hoodies, black yoga pants, and beige boots with turquoise laces. The president of the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, Doug Dobrowolski, has been re-elected to the position. Gladstone's Mayor Eileen Clark was acclaimed urban vice president, while Maurice Reeve, Ralph Groening, will serve his first term as rural vice president. 50 resolutions were debated during the two-day annual convention. The board of directors is to meet today with Premier Greg Selinger and members of his cabinet. Health Canada is warning Canadians that thermography machines are not approved for use in Canada for breast cancer detection. Manitoba Health Minister Teresa Oswald has already ordered a thermography clinic in Winnipeg to stop operating. The Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation is also joining the information effort, telling Canadians that thermography is not recommended by any medical authority or leading cancer organization. Let's check our list. Toys? Sure. Gift cards? More than acceptable. Animals? That's going too far, according to the Brandon Humane Society. Tracy Munn, manager of the Humane Society shelter, said many pets given as gifts are returned to the shelter or brought to the pound shortly after the holiday season for a variety of reasons. Some people are allergic to dogs or cats, while others find them too much to look after. Still more find the animals are not the right size, and others simply don't want the pets. The Brandon Humane Society encourages adoptions but advises potential gift givers to make sure the recipient actually wants an animal. A good way to ensure a mistake isn't made is to get a stuffed toy that represents the intended gift, a stuffed dog, cat, or rabbit, and give it, along with a chit for a real pet, should the recipient want to choose a pet for themselves. And with that, let's take a look at where today's money markets are currently sitting.
Westman Newsline, produced by the IMA Media Production students of Assiniboine Community College. Local news, weather, and sports on Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline, airing at 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on WCG-TV.
The political upheaval in Egypt shows no sign of easing. Protests continued into the night in Cairo's Tahrir Square. Demonstrators are demanding President Mohamed Morsi rescind a decree extending his powers. The Muslim Brotherhood is planning nationwide rallies Saturday in support of Morsi and the decree. Egypt's highest appeals court suspended its work until the decree is rescinded. And in a surprise development, the council drafting a new constitution said its work was nearly complete. CNN's Riza Saya brings this latest report.
Another collision course is taking shape here in Egypt, where you have President Morsi and the Muslim Brotherhood on one side and opposition factions and the judiciary on another. And this time the issue at hand is Egypt's all-important new constitution. Remember, President Morsi wants this new constitution drafted as soon as possible. He says that's the best way to move democracy forward in Egypt. Several officials appointed to draft this constitution say the document could be written and approved by Thursday. That could spark a lot of anger in opposition factions. Here's why. Initially, a 100-member panel was appointed to draft this constitution, but the process has been tumultuous. There's been a lot of conflict. The panel is dominated by Islamists. Several liberal members have quit in protest. Some have sued to disband the panel and to start over. If this new constitution is Egypt is drafted by this panel, as it stands now, it could certainly fuel the outrage in protesters that are gathered in Tahrir Square. In the meantime, in the coming days, Egypt's top courts could vote to dissolve this constitutional assembly. They could also vote on the constitutionality of Morsi's decrees. These would be direct challenges to the president's declarations. Finally, more protests scheduled in the coming days. Opposition factions are calling for another mass demonstration back here in Tahrir Square on Friday. The Muslim Brotherhood calling for their own mass demonstration on Saturday. Some of those Brotherhood demonstrations could take place here in Tahrir Square, according to a Muslim Brotherhood spokesperson, setting the stage for a potentially explosive day. Reza Sayah, CNN, Cairo.
We have a winner. 2, in fact. Lottery officials say 2 jackpot-winning tickets were sold in last night's multi-million-dollar Powerball jackpot. And even if you didn't win the big prize, maybe you're among the almost 9 million people who won something. Mary Ellen Hopkins has the story.
A few folks are waking up a lot richer today. 2 winning tickets for the record-breaking Powerball jackpot were sold, one in Arizona and one in Missouri. The second biggest jackpot in U.S. history had people going a bit crazy. They waited in long lines for a chance to cash in big time. They were dreaming big.
Daydreaming, drive dreaming, night dreaming, yes. 500 million is a lot of dreaming.
And seeing dollar signs.
$500 million, I have no idea. That's just way beyond my comprehension.
Take a trip down Myrtle Beach somewhere.
I have grandkids, so I'd make sure they got scholarships to college. Everybody says, can you just imagine winning? And I say, yes, I can imagine it, and I imagine it all the time.
But not everyone caught the fever. Syndicated radio host and author Dave Ramsey prefers the old-fashioned way of building wealth.
Living frugally, working hard, coming up with an idea, going to work early, leaving late, saving money, not spending everything you make.
The odds of winning are about 1 in 175 million, but that didn't stop Mike Coppola from buying a ticket and thinking about what he'll do if his Powerball pipe dream becomes reality.
You got family, charity, quit my job.
Coppola says it was worth a shot because, after all, you can't win if you don't play. I'm Mary Ellen Hopkins reporting.
The winning tickets were sold in Arizona and Missouri. That's it for news, but stick around. Colton's up next with Newsline weather.
Good afternoon. With Newsline weather, I'm Colton Yarch. With the Christmas season unofficially upon us, some folks will be roasting chestnuts on an open fire. Today, I suggest you stock the wood stove as full as possible. Currently in Brandon, it is cloudy and -14. That wind chill makes it feel more like -24. Wind is out of the east at 28 kilometers per hour. This evening, there's a 70% chance of snow. About 1 to 3 centimeters is expected. The temperature will be around -14, and winds will be out of the east at 20 kilometers per hour. The snow will continue to fall as we drift away in a peaceful sleep, but less than 1 centimeter is expected. The overnight low should be around -15. Winds will be out of the east at 15 kilometers. Taking a look at our radar image, these precipitous cells from the Yorkton-Moosomin area will make their way into the Brandon and Westman region over the coming days. Turning to our satellite image, this heavy cloud continues to roll across the prairies from the west coast. Here in Brandon, we can expect fairly thick cloud cover over the next few days. Taking a look at our 5-day forecast, the snow will last into tomorrow when the high will be -3, the low -15. Winds will be out of the east at 15 kilometers. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are all pretty much the same, warmer than normal with temperatures hanging just below 0. Cloudy skies are called for, and Monday we may see some more snow. Winds will be fairly light, with Monday being the exception again. Tuesday, we should finally see the sun, but you know what they say, clear and cold. The high will be around -11, the low -15. Winds will be strong out of the northwest at 30 kilometers. Taking a look around the region, Winnipeg and Portage are both in at -14. Meanwhile, Dauphin is sitting at -13. Neepawa, Carberry, Clarny, and Minnedosa are all in at -14, and Verdun will round us out at -13. Seasonal norms for this time of year are a high of -6 degrees and a low of -16. The record high for this date was 10.6, set back in 1949. Wouldn't we love to have that back? Hopefully, though, this will make you feel better. Our record low was a raw -34.4, set back in 1985. That's the third straight day the record low was set in 1985. Once again in Brandon, it is cloudy and -14, with winds out of the east at 28 kilometers per hour, making it feel more like -24. That's it for weather, but keep it locked. Dylan's up next with Newsline Sports.
Good afternoon with Newsline Sports. I'm Dylan Donald. Last night in Westman's Super League of Curling action at the Brandon Curling Club of the Keystone Center saw Rob Van Comer of Carberry take on Perry Fisher's Wabanesa squad. In the first end, Van Comer managed to take out Fisher's shot rock and had an opportunity to hit and stick for 1, which led to Fisher drawing in for 3. Then in the second end, Fisher came down and managed to rid the house of Van Comer's rocks with a big takeout. However, Van Comer still managed to get rid of shot rock and sat to count for 2, making it 3-2 after 2. Third end action, Fisher had shot rock with 2 others in the house. Van Comer later makes a huge mistake, hitting Fisher's own rock back and eliminating his own, which led Fisher to hit and stick for a total of 5. This one didn't last very much longer after Van Comer draw for 1 came up short in the fourth end, leading for him giving up 2 points. They decided to shake hands, and this one finished 9-2 in the favor of Fisher's team. With the victory, Fisher improves to 500 at 4-4, and Van Comer is sitting near the basement of the WSLC standings at 3-5. In other WSLC games Wednesday night, Fowler defeated Marnock 6-5. Skinner came up short in 7 ends. Renwick takes the win 6-2. McNamee beat Lang 5-2. In a close one, McCannell beat Chudley 8-7, and finally Kozak edged out Anderson by a score of 5-4. From local curling to curling on a national level, Caitlin Laws and Team Jones are keeping the Capital One Canada Cup curling competition tight. Laws' Winnipeg rink downed Kathy Overton Clapham's club 9-6 on Wednesday to improve to 2-0 in the third draw of the tournament. The win ties Laws with Stephanie Lawton's Saskatchewan club at the top of the women's rankings. The Overton Clapham rink is 0-2. The Team Jones is being skipped by Laws in place of Jennifer Jones, who gave birth to a baby girl just 2 weeks ago. Jones is also recovering from knee surgery. Overton Clapham's rink is also from Winnipeg. Laws has scored 4 points in the 5th end to take a commanding 7-3 lead. They never look back and adding points in the 8th and 10th end. Last night, it was the same old for the struggling Brandon Wheat Kings. The Swift Current Broncos scored 3 times in the first period and went on to a 5-1 victory over the Wheaties. It was Brandon's 4th loss in a row and 8th in 9 games. Just like in Tuesday's 5-3 loss in Swift Current, when Brandon fell behind 5-1, the Wheat Kings spotted the Broncos a big lead Wednesday and were virtually out of the game by the time the third period came around. After this weekend's road trip, which also features a Sunday date with the Medicine Hat Tigers, the Wheat Kings will get another chance to establish themselves at home with 4 straight home games. And Randy, that's all for sports.
Thanks, Dylan. We have a few seconds. We can discuss the Movember challenge that just ended.
I can't say I did too well. I mean, if we're looking at this right now, it's 28 days into Movember, and I have not shaved, and unfortunately, this is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
So
2 days, I think it's safe to say that I won. But
yeah, I would. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
That's all we have for you today. Be sure to join us next Tuesday for Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline.